a esta hora. Andamos en New York. A todos los residentes de New York, yo tengo una noticia para ustedes. Así es, el 1 de abril.
We have 2014 Volkswagen Tiguan. We're going to replace the radio with the Jensen Carplay Android Auto. First step is remove these two. One's the airbag indication plate on the right, and I think there's a microphone. We're going to remove those, and there should be two torque screws on the part of it. Okay, you need a sharp knife like one of these. I have it out because I had to use it two hands. So start from the middle section of it, put the knife or something sharp on the part of this plate, then carefully pry that switch panel out. So that's out. We're going to disconnect that. You know what? Let's not disconnect this. A lot of times, if you disconnect, the airbag indication may come back on. So as you can see, there are two torque screws right here. Remove that. If you do not have reset tool, which we do, if you don't want to deal with the airbag indication light coming on after you disconnect the indication light, you just simply stick this inward like this, maybe. If it doesn't work out, we're going to remove it. And second best way, if you don't want to deal with it, disconnect the battery, and you can disconnect that. After you finish the job, put the battery back on and you should be fine. And you take this, you need a panel popper, Jim.
You have a panel popper. The middle one. I can do it with this one.
So, carefully pry that entire plate out. Let's see if you can sneak this back into the hole. If not, we're just gonna disconnect this. Just disconnect the hazard switch and we'll put it on the top. Clip is on this end. You are pushing this side inward to release. So let's see what else is holding. Alright, and you can just leave that whole panel up here. Let's see.
I'll plug it back in.
Let's see. Let's just disconnect it. We have a machine to reset it anyway, so. Push that middle pin. As I said, if you don't want to deal with the airbag indication, and just disconnect the battery.
This way, if you turn the key on by accident, you won't mess it up.
Then we're going to remove 4 screws here, 2 on each side. You have the radio out and disconnect all the harnesses from behind. This one has a little locking clip right here. You're gonna have to release that locking clip right here on the bottom. Lift up. Right, lift this locking clip upward and disconnect. Same thing over here. There's a locking pin here. Push it down and slide. And those are the antenna adapters. So you just simply push the tab and release and disconnect. Use a panel popper to remove from underneath.
Sometimes you week or so.
So push the locking clip, pry it off. Same thing over here. Okay, so we got the radio removed, and I'll show you online all the parts that we are using. This is the Jensen Carplay. Comes with a microphone, antenna, harness. This is Mechless website. That's the dash kit 959011B. There's an antenna adapter 40-EU56, and the harness 70-9003. A lot of times I skip this part because it's straightforward. You just simply match the colors. In this case, you may not have ignition wire here, and I'll show you where we can grab the ignition from the either lighter plug or from the ignition harness direct. They do sell a module to create ignition. You don't need to. You don't need to spend $120 for that. You just simply grab the ignition from the ignition harness. The rest, you match the colors, color to color. Yellow to yellow, blue to blue, white to white. Just match the colors. Whatever don't match, don't use. Simple as that. Just gotta put the side plates. It's marked left and right. This is at the ignition cylinder. The ignition wire happens to be black, and that's the positive side.
Ignition button. You gotta push it harder.
Key fob in here. Black wire. And that's the ignition wire. So we got all the wires connected. Some harnesses, they do give you a demo wire, but there is no demo wire on this end, so we're not gonna hook that up. This one has the amplified antenna adapter. The blue wire gets connected to where the either blue wire or blue-white wire. That can be either antenna turn on or amp turn on. And whatever matches, use. Whatever don't match, don't use. We are running a ignition wire, as I said. At the ignition cylinder, there's a black wire. You run it up to, make sure you fuse it. Anytime you tap any wire to the car side power, you gotta fuse it. So put a fuse holder, and that end comes up to here, and that'll give you the ignition wire. So radio comes on and off with the key. And this is how it looks once it's all mounted. And just go straight up there.
Conduciendo a esta hora. Andamos en New York. Para todos los residentes de New York, yo tengo una noticia para ustedes. Así es, el 1 de abril.